Professor Dr. S. Gauri is the Director of EMRC of UGC and also Professor in the Department of Manufacturing Engineering, Anna University. He is the recipient of the National Award for Outstanding Academic 2011, honored by the Indian Society of Technical Education, New Delhi in 2012. He has previously been the Registrar of Anna University of Technology, Chennai. He received BE in Mechanical Engineering from Tyagarajar College of Engineering, Madurai, MTech in Production Engineering and PhD in Precision Machining in IIT Madras. He was awarded for his PG project work in IIT Madras. His main areas of interest are technical education system development, precision machining, rapid prototyping, FEA, biomedical engineering, medical image analysis, and shape memory alloys. He is a life member of ISTE, AMM, and SME of USA. He has been awarded with fellowships of research work done in surface engineering by NSF USA in 1992 and by NSTB Singapore in 1997 to 1999. He is a visiting faculty in India and abroad in many colleges and universities, including Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, Technical University, Weingarten, Stuttgart, Germany, and taught nanotechnology. He has traveled many countries, including Germany, UK, USA, Netherlands, Singapore, Spain, Switzerland, Malaysia, Brunei, and Australia for his academic works. In addition, he got international travel fellowships from UGC, AICTE, CSIR, and DST. He has successfully completed several projects in India and abroad. He has offered technical consultations in India and abroad to MNCs such as Sony of Japan, Pratt & Whitney of USA, GE of Singapore, iGel of Australia, and also to Railways Coach Factory, Chennai. He was a member of the Technical Expert Committee selected by DST to participate in the Indo-UK Manufacturing Engineering Colloquium held in January 2012. He headed the International Joint Project on Virtual Laboratories on Mechatronics, a real-time web-based project with partners from Julius Maximilian University, Würzburg, Germany, and the University of Madrid, Spain in 2005. He is holding an international patent for the work done in micromachining during his tenure in Singapore. He is a member and director of several Tamil Nadu government advisory boards.
In this lecture, we will learn about the simplex method and the starting table or zeroth table of it, and how a product mix problem can be solved by simplex method. Now, let us have some introduction about linear programming. Even though we know what is linear, what is programming, and how the two words have been coined by the mathematician Dr. G.B. Danzig in 1947. He identified most of the occurrences can be approximately mathematically modeled in a linear structure, and from that some set of activities could be optimized and practiced, and that is why it is called programming. The word programming, what he meant and how we follow today, is no way connected with the computer programming or the programming languages and so many things what we speak on today, because at that time they never even thought about the computer programming or programming languages like that maybe. In this, what is LPP and how that can be formulated, then that can be a maximization or minimization problem, and how a graphical model can be developed, and how an optimal solution can be identified from the extreme points, and that can be converted into a suitable programming as applicable to today's context, and hence computer solutions can be obtained. Similarly, a minimization problem can also be solved by graphical method if the decision variables are restricted to only 2, and some case studies, and those things we can discuss now. Linear program has nothing to do with the computer programming. Here the programming means choosing a course of action, just like that. Tomorrow is holiday, what is your program? Do you mean that you will go to the computer lab and do some programming? No, nobody will do. You may have some other option to go to relatives. So, that is a program, that is what is a schedule of activities like that. That is the meaning of that. It involves choosing a course of action when a mathematical model of the problem contains only linear function. That is why he could develop a linear structure model with lot of approximation. If all the approximations are not considered, then there is a question whether a linear function can be possible. So, at that time we have to go for non-linear. The maximization or minimization of some quantity is objective in all linear programming problems. So, that should be an objective, just like we have an objective aim in life. Any LPP should have an objective for which you are doing that, whether it is a maximizing or minimization like that. And all the problems have constraints that limit the degree to which the objective can be pursued. Lot of objectives are, you may have lot of objectives, but there are restrictions, there are constraints. The constraints may be in your control, or sometimes the constraint may be out of your control, but still we need to optimize our objective, aim to achieve it using the constraints or the limitations. Of course, the constraints are the resources. Do not feel that they are the bottlenecks. Whatever the stones, blocking stones, you should use as a stepping stone. So, that resources that can be used as a resources. The constraints should be used as a resources like that. A feasible solution satisfies all the problems constraints. That should be a feasible solution. That has been an acceptable solution. The solution or the decision what you make should satisfy the constraints. That means make use of all the resources. And an optimal solution is feasible solution that results in the largest possible objective function value when maximizing or smallest when minimizing. So, there is an always existence of an optimal solution from set of feasible solutions. Once you have set of feasible solutions, at least any one of them will be an optimal solution. That means, it can either maximize or minimize it. A graphical solution method can be used to solve linear programming method with two variables. When there are only two decision variables are existing, then go for graphical method. Then more than two variables, more than two decision variables are there, go for simplex technique. Of course, even with the two variable problems, we can solve it by simplex technique, but the graphical is simpler than the simplex technique. That is why you go for graphical technique for two variable problems. If both the objective function and the constraints are linear, the problem is referred to LPP. So, here the linear functions are the functions in which each variable appears in a separate term raised to the first power and is multiplied by a constant, which could be 0 also. That means, it will not exist. So, the constant which is multiplied with the variable x1 or x2, x3, maybe you are multiplying the 4x1, 3x1, something like that, and that is the coefficient. So, always some constant is multiplied, and both the objective function, the constraints are in the linear way, the order is 1. Linear constraints are linear functions that are restricted to be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to a constant. So, there is an inequality or equality. There may be a perfect equation, or there may be an inequality of less than or equal to or greater than or equal to some constant. That is a structure of a constraint, that what we have discussed. And problem formulation modeling is the process of translating a verbal statement of a problem into a mathematical statement. Just we had discussed a product mix problem. There are two different type of paints, or two different type of toys, or any two different type of products are to be made, and they need some resources in terms of material, manpower, machine, and so many things, or sometimes market, and how many of the each item to be produced, so that the objective function can be optimized either to maximize the sales revenue or profit, or to minimize the cost or the loss or the expenses, and that is a formulation. That is called, the verbal statement is transformed to a model, that is called formulation. Sometimes heavy, I should say, a problem with lot of constraints and lot of variables may be asked, which you may find it difficult to solve in the class or in the examinations, and at that time that may be asked just like a formulation. Formulate the given problem. that's a sort of a verbal statement in an industry, just like a product mix or scheduling or so many things, and that can be formulated. It can be solved, but it may be lengthy. So, at that time the question ends with formulate the given problem. So, formulating model is an art, and that can be mastered with practice and experience. So, formulation comes by practice. It is not just like when a problem is coming, a 2 variable problem or 3 variable problem, 4 variable problem comes, and this is a method by which you can formulate. No, it is purely how you understand, how you identify, and how you interpret in your own way, so that suitable mathematical model can be made. It is purely by practice and how we analyze, how you understand. So, you need good amount of practice. You are expected to solve as many problems as possible. Every LP problem has some unique features, but most problems also have common features. The common features are, you can model in a sort of inequality, and you can identify an objective function, and they can be associated with decision variables. So, like that, they are the common features. Over the common platform, you develop your own skill. Sometimes a long modeling can be minimized, can be shortened. However, the number of variables cannot be shortened. The number of variables are fixed, but other ways of the modeling sometimes can be shortened. These are some guidelines. Please note, just like a guideline. It is not a regulation, it is not a rule. It is only a guideline above which you will be able to do that. Understand the problem thoroughly. That is the biggest task. How we understand. Number of times you read. At least 3 times you should read to understand the problem. What is given, what is asked, what should be done. Describe the objective. What is the objective function? Identify. Sometimes the problem may not clearly or directly give what is the objective function. You may have to derive the objective function from the constraint itself. There are some problems. Describe each constraint. Define the decision variables. What are the decision variables? What are the products to be made? What are the hours to be minimized? So, like that. Write the objective in terms of decision variables, similarly the constraints also. So, all the objective function, the constraints should be written using the decision variables. Without the decision variables, they cannot exist at all. This is a simple maximization problem. Maximize 5x1 plus 7x2 subject to, that the short form s dot t dot we put, that is called subject to the constraints x1 less than or equal to 6, 2x1 plus 3x2 less than or equal to 19, x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 8, and x1 and x2 are greater than or equal to 0. So, this is a sort of a structure, canonical form people say. So, that is objective function, and given are the regular constraints which have the influence over the objective function, and other constraint is non-negativity constraint. That is always to be understood. The problem will not state all the variables are non-negativity. No, you have to identify. That is a major condition in that all the variables associated in LPP are non-negative. One way we are blessed, we are lucky to have it. No doubt whether the answer is negative. The first constraint, you remember, for that when we draw the x1 in the abscissa and x2 in the ordinate, and x1 less than or equal to 6. So, for any values of x2, that is 6. So, the line parallel to the x2 axis, and since it is less than or equal to the region between that ordinate and the line x1 equal to 6, the straight line is a feasible region or shaded region which contains all feasible points for the constraint. That means, if you take any point in the region, that satisfies the inequality constraint. If we come to that extreme point, that becomes perfectly equal. So, the region is bounded, it can go to any height, still it is x1 is less than or equal to 6 and it satisfies the constraint. For the second one, 2x1 plus 3x2, you find that if you draw the lines when assume x1 equal to 0, what is x2 value, what is x2 is 0, x1 value, the 2 points, then join them by a straight line, and that is a equation, and the region below that, the shaded region, is a feasible region for the second constraint. And third one, x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 8, we get the feasible region like this. For x1 equal to 0, x2 equal to 8. For x2 is 0, x1 equal to x2 equal to 8, and join them by a straight line, you get that polygon is just like a triangle that shows the feasible region for the constraint x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 8. Now we combine them, you get that is a feasible region. For all the three constraints, the feasible region has been shaded like this, a sort of a polygon. It means if you take any point in the polygon, that satisfies all the constraints. If we go out of the shaded region, take any point, it may solve one or two constraints, but not all. You can, just like a triangle, you can make the x1 plus x2 less than 8, the unshaded triangle, you take any point that may not satisfy the constraint 2x1 plus 3x2 less than or equal to 19. Or if you take any point here, that may not satisfy that one. So, take a feasible region, identify the feasible region which will satisfy all the constraints, proper shading is to be made, and that is called convex polygon. What is the opposite of convex polygon? It is not concave. Convex, concave in optics. In operations research, it is convex and non-convex. So, non-convex. So, convex polygon means if you take any 2 points inside the polygon, and that line will lie in the same polygon. That is a simple definition or simple way to understand it. So, one way to find out the values of the objective function is find out the x1, x2 from all the corners 0, 0. Here it is 0, 6 point something, and here it is 7, 0, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 extreme points. Find out the value of x1, x2 for all the 4 points, then put in that equation, whichever gives the maximum, that is a 1. The other technique is draw the slope of the objective function 5x1 plus 7x2, draw the slope. Define that bright line, that shows the slope of the objective function. You can draw like that, find out the slope and go on draw parallel lines one over another afterwards, going away from the origin. One line, other line, other line, like that, no? And the point which is cut at last, that is the point, no? Once you move on the line, draw the, using the pencil, go on, draw the parallel lines. The corner points, one here, one here, one here. The corner points which is cut last by the line, or the other way, what to say, the point which is at the farthest distance away from the origin, the longest distance away from the origin, farthest distance, that point gives the optimal solution. That is the one way. That is what mathematical people usually advise, draw the slope, go on, move it. But what we say is find out the points, put in the equation, you get it. Because whatever way you follow, you find it easier, you can use it in that way. So, summary of the work what we have done so far is prepare a graph of the feasible solution for each of the constraint, that is what was shown. Then determine the feasible region. Please note the feasible solution for each of the constraint based on the inequality. If it is less than, it comes inside. If it is greater than, it goes away. Sometimes the coefficient have a minus value. At that time, we should select which is the feasible region. Sometimes finding a feasible region may not be easier. So, whenever identify a feasible region, select some sample points in that region, check whether that satisfies the constraint. If you are not sure whether the feasible region, whether you have to shade this side or that side, towards the origin or away from the origin, sometimes you may have doubt. That comes usually when the constraint is having some negative coefficients. So far we have discussed there is only a positive coefficient, minus 3x1 plus 5x2 greater than or equal to 26. When it comes like that, then marking that feasible region become still laborious. We should spend time, we should identify it. For that, take sample points in the particular region which you want, that is a feasible region. You check for feasibility, whether it satisfies the constraint. This is the farthest distance, x1 equal to 5, x2 equal to 3, and that optimizes the objective function. So, draw an objective function line, move parallel objective lines towards larger objective function values without entirely leaving the feasible region. Any feasible solution on the objective function line with the largest value is an optimal solution. So, a linear program in which all the variables are non-negative and all constants are equalities is said to be a standard form. A standard form is attained by adding slack variables to less than or equal to constraint and by subtracting surplus variables from greater than or equal to constraint. For example, if the constraint is x1 plus 2x2 less than or equal to 20. So, it can be made perfectly equal by adding a variable called slack variable, just like x1 plus 2x2 plus s1 equal to 20, where s1 is greater than or equal to 0. If s1 is 0, x1 plus 2x2 is perfectly equal to 20. If s1 is greater than 0, then x1 plus x2 is less than 20. So, in that way the less than or equal to constraint is satisfied, but it is written in the form of a perfect equation by adding a surplus slack variable by which short. Similarly, if x1 plus 2x2 is greater than or equal to 20, then it can be made perfect equal by x1 plus 2x2 minus s1 equal to 20, where s1 is again greater than or equal to 0. So, at that time, if s1 is 0, then x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 20. If s1 is greater than 0, then x1 plus x2 is greater than 20, like that. Anyway, when we do the problem of simplex, we will have a better explanation and understanding. So, slack and surplus will represent the difference between the left and the right side of the constraint. So, slack and surplus variables have objective function coefficients equal to 0, because they do not have any coefficient 2x1, 2s1, 5s2, no, we do not, we just put s1 or s2 for the sake of simplicity. Nothing wrong if you put 5s1, because finally you will find out, you will say sometimes s1 is 0 or will have some values, at that time you will divide it and do that. That is of no much importance in the initial stage. This is a constraint, this is a objective function where x1, in the previous problem x1 less than or equal to 6, now it is made plus s1. Similarly, plus s2 plus s3, there x1, x2, s1, s2 is greater than or equal to 0. The s1, s2 and s3 are slack variables. S1, S2 and S1, S2 are slack variables, where S1 is 0 greater than 0, S2 is greater than or equal to 0, S3 is greater than or equal to 0. Similarly, a surplus variable. So, when you put that the graph, you find here is a perfect equation and here S1 equal to 1 and here S2 equal to 0, like that. So, that means it becomes perfectly equal. The corners or vertices of the feasible region are referred to as extreme points. They are the extreme points, and any one of the extreme point will give the objective function maximized. An optimal solution in an LP problem can be found at an extreme point of the feasible region, any one of them. Sometimes might be one, maybe more than one. You have to consider only the extreme points of the feasible region. So, you do not have to evaluate all feasible solution points, only the extreme points, because the extreme points, why do you consider only the extreme points? What is the extreme point? Extreme points are the intersection of the constant linear lines, and that is a point or the feasible one which uses the maximum resource. If we take any point below that, that is inequality, less than or greater than, but any point on the line is a perfect equation, use all the resources without wastage. So, take only that points. Among the points, any one of them gives a feasible one, like this. This is a feasible region, this is a point 1, here 2, 3, 4, 5. Among them, this point gives a better one. The linear programming problems involving thousands of variables and thousands of constraints are now routinely solved with the computer packages. The number of software packages are available. The leading commercial packages are Cplex, Lingo, Lindo, there was one previously using Fortran, then QSB, Mosaic, Express, MP, like that, so many things. The management scientists have package developed by the authors of your textbook Just I think Hamid Taga has an LP model. Next, let us come to a minimization problem. A minimization problem is 5x1 plus 2x2 subject to 2x1 plus 5x2 greater than or equal to 10, 4x1 minus x2 greater than or equal to 12, x1 plus x2 greater than or equal to 4, and they are non-negative. So, you have to draw the graph by when x1 is 0, x2 equal to 2, x2 is 0, like that we plot it, we get the graph like this. Since all are greater than or equal to, we get the feasible region like this. Please note, if all are less than or equal to, the feasible region will be like this. When the constraints are of a different nature, the feasible region, because when it is greater than or equal to what, how will you do? We will shade away from here. Similarly, you will shade from here. Similarly, you will shade from here. So, common to all the three, the feasible region is this. That means this value, this side, it can go anywhere, like this here also. Here it is bounded. So, now we have the corner points, one here and one here. There are the two known corner points and remaining all increasing. What is objective function? Minimize. So, among the points you get the point, find out the minimum valued points. Again, just like the previous one, move the objective function linear toward optimality. Move it in the direction which lowers its value down, since we are minimizing until it touches the last point of the feasible region determined by the last two constraints. So, this is the objective function line, the slope. You go on, move this direction, do not go away from here. In the case of maximization problem, you moved from here to, from the origin. Now, you come towards origin. So, now we get the points. When you solve it, you find that x1 equal to 16 by 5 and x2 equal to 4 by 5 and 5x1 plus 2x2, that is equal to 88 by 5, that is a minimum value. Here one point, here another point, there are 3 points. Among them, the one which gives the smallest value of the z is only this point, for x1 equal to this much, x2 equal to this much. Prepare a graph of the feasible solutions for each of the constraints. Determine the feasible region that satisfies all the constraints. Move the parallel objective function line towards smaller objective function value without entirely leaving the feasible region, whichever gives the smallest value, that is the objective. And if that given problem is to be written in the standard form, the previous form inequality is called canonical form, and that is to be written in the standard form means put minus S1, minus S2, minus S3. They are called surplus variables. In the case of a maximization, we are add plus S1 plus S2, that is called slack variables. Only when you add it become equal, because the left hand side may be less than the right hand side. So, I have to add it. Here the left hand side is greater than the right hand side, maybe at that time you have to subtract it. And please note the coefficients are only 1, and the they actually do not exist in the given problem. The objective function, they do not exist at all. In order to make it perfectly equal, we are adding the slack variable or surplus variable. So, when you write in the dz equation here, it should be written along with the 0 coefficient. That means they do not exist at all in the objective function. What is objective function? That is a yield, that is either profit or a loss or income or outgoing, and in that only decision variables are given in the problem. So, that is 0 S1, 0 S2, 0 S3. Now, let us focus on the special cases of linear programming problem. One is the infeasible solution or infeasibility. No solution to the LP problem satisfy all the constraint, including non-negativity constraint. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you may get a value x1 negative. So, the non-negativity constraint is not satisfied, or sometimes both are plus or 0, but one or more than one of the constraints may not be satisfied. Graphically, this means a feasible region does not exist. There is no feasible region existing. This may be due to a formulation error, as I told you. During formulation, there may be error, or management's expectations are too high. People cannot work. You try to take more output. No, we want to have more production, more number of units to be produced, or you have to work for more hours, increase the right hand constraint, where the hours available from 60, we want to 100, something like that. So, this is a management is too ambitious or greedy, too many restrictions have been placed on the problem. The problem is over constrained. If you put too many constraints, sometimes that will not give a feasible solution. Consider the problem 2x1 plus 6x2 subject to the two constraints. One is less than or equal to, other is greater than or equal to a. When you plot it, this is 4x1 plus 3x2 less than or equal to 12 means the feasible region is this. 2x1 plus x2 greater than or equal to 8 means the feasible region is this. One feasible region is here, one feasible region is there. So, the common region you cannot find, one is this side, one is this side, and this is left behind, nothing is there. So, infeasibility appears because you are unable to find out a feasible region. Next case is an unbounded solution, that is also not practically existing, mathematically okay. The solution to maximizing LP is unbounded if the value of the solution may be made indefinitely large without violating any of the constraint. For real problems, this is the result of improper formulation, that is all. Real situation that cannot be possible, otherwise it can be purely mathematical. You can go on maximize, you can go on minimize, which may be mathematically possible, not the real world. Or sometimes a constraint has been inadvertently omitted, maybe a loss of a constraint. This is a problem 4x1 plus 5x2 subject to x1 plus x2 greater than or equal to 5, 3x1 plus x2 greater than or equal to 8, x1 and x2 are non-negative. When we have this is a 1, please note this is a maximization problem, not a minimization problem. When it is a maximization problem, when it comes, usually what we will do, you will try to move on the region. So, that means you can move on from here to anywhere, go on like this. It means it is an unbounded solution. Okay. With this, we will stop the different type of solutions. Now, we can discuss about the summary, how the starting table of LPP in simplex method originated. The starting table in simplex method can be compared with the origin in a two-dimensional graph, where the abscissa and the ordinate meet, the origin is 0, and that is represented in terms of the zeroth table. And this can be applied for the product mix problem, either there are two variables or more than two variables, and any such problems like maximization or minimization can also be solved by suitably converting into a maximization or minimization isotroph function. Finally, let me frame some important questions from our discussions. What is the indication of starting table, and what will you understand from the last column of it, whether you got a feasible solution, whether it is optimal or not. The second question, what do you understand by the term key row or key column? The third question, how will you identify a key row or a key column? The last question, what do you mean by key number?